But
I would have worn and been like, just so you know, I know you see this big ass ring. Don't ask me any questions about it.
Excuse me. Don't ask me any questions about this.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our final episode of COVID AV. I want to thank you all for joining me through this whole series. If you missed any, make sure you go back and check out all the great interviews we had. I also want to real quickly thank Dan and AVLD Events for providing us with this lovely space that we have for this interview. Today, I'm lucky and you're lucky enough to be able to get some info and hear some more, hear some stuff about Jarreau I have with me. He is the singer in JWX.
Yes, Jarreau Williams experience, yeah.
Yep, and so we're just gonna ask him a couple questions, and then we got a little surprise for you that we're gonna end on. So to start it out, I want to just kind of go into, when I was looking at your bio and stuff, you didn't start as a full-time singer and stuff. So I want to know, like, was there like a click? Did someone tap you on the shoulder, like, bro, you wasting time? Like, get a mic. Like, what kind of drew you to make that like switch and really go full bore into?
I think ultimately it just came down to a decision of what do I love the most and what brings value to me and, you know, my community that I'm around and I serve. And music has always been a part of my life since the very beginning. But it wasn't until, I guess, a couple years ago now that I finally saw the potential of really taking a leap of faith and doing this as a full-time career. And yeah, there's always going to be some risk involved. There's always going to be some uncertainty involved. But, you know, ultimately, it comes down to just having the passion and the work ethic to do it. And so I've been full-time now for about 2 years. Okay. And it's been very exciting. I mean, lots of challenges, obviously, but I've had so much fun doing what I love to do.
So up till now, what would you say? I know one of the things on your bio is actually got to perform for Obama.
Yeah, that was a very life-changing, exhilarating experience. So while the president was in office, for every year he would go to a different historically black church for Martin Luther King Day. And it just so happened in 2012, I believe, or it was around that time, either 2012, 2012. He chose our church, Zion Baptist Church in Northwest DC. And to have him in the congregation, him, Michelle, Sasha, Malia, it's just something that you never forget. It's something you always hold on to. So that was a pretty amazing day.
No, I can't even imagine. I don't think I've been in the room with anyone like that powerful and famous. And just, he's 100% my all-time favorite president at this point.
Like, you ever see when someone walks into the room and they have like a aura or like a gravitas about them? That's what Barack Obama was for me. You know, again, being an African American in this country and obviously seeing the first black president is, you know, no matter what you believe, is a pretty historic moment.
No,
so,
100%.
And then to be in the same room with him. So
and
that
get
was
to share your talent.
Yeah, and that was, like I said, just be in the worship experience. That was just a great day all around.
That is awesome. Man. I've had some good events, but man, if I could have an event with Obama, that'd be pretty good. So I want to kind of jump to the present. We are obviously in a COVID time. You know, there's lots of precautions being taken. Events have taken a hit and stuff like that. What were like what were your thoughts when like kind of everything first hit? Like, were you like, oh crap, like I don't know what I'm gonna do, or was it like, all right, time to hit the ground and figure out how we can make this an opportunity? Like, where around the March April time when stuff really started to shut down, where were you at? Would you say?
Yeah, and it's wild to think that it's been that long now. It's
Yeah.
been almost,
I think 10
9 months, 10 months since that happened. It was a mix of both. We were just finishing a gig, and we all kind of knew that that was potentially going to be the last full live experience that we were going to have for a while. So we just really relished that moment, and it was one of those kind of leave it all out on the floor kind of moments.
Yeah.
And then the weeks following, it was a mix of kind of what you were saying. Like, first it was kind of, geez, what do I do? Like, where do I go from here? And I know it's very easy. We're very conditioned to go, 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 go all the time. And so I decided to do the opposite. I felt like there was a moment being presented that said, this is time for you to sit back and assess.
Yeah.
So I took about a week and did nothing. I binge watched Game of Thrones. I, played some video games. I just kind of did some things that were very therapeutic for me because I knew that the next few weeks, potentially months, were going to be very up and down.
Yeah.
So after that week, the main question that I asked myself through all of it was, again, what can I do in this time to bring value to my community? That was the number one question that I had through the whole thing. Because when you develop an entrepreneurial mindset, that kind of becomes your goal. It's not necessarily just to stop and assess, but also, okay, which way do I need to veer? Like, what am I going to have to do next?
Yeah.
So you kind of sit in it for a minute, but you're still thinking of what the forward progress is going to be.
Yeah.
So one of the first things that I did was I called up some of my industry friends and colleagues, and I said, hey, would you be interested in getting on Instagram and Facebook Live with me and talking about our industry? All the various things that I felt that other musicians and creatives could learn from, including how to set up sound at a gig, singing the national anthem, entertainment business or logistics, setting up the event, and also just being a more efficient performer. What does that look like? How can you achieve that? So I really spent a lot of time doing that, and then also exploring live streaming, obviously. I built or assembled my mini home studio. Got the interface, the condenser mic, all those other things, and started learning how to work in Ableton and recording vocals. So again, it was a transition.
Yeah.
But there was a learning moment in there, but I also had to tell myself that there are going to be an array of emotions that come up during all this. So you just kind of have to be patient and give yourself grace when stuff like that happens. So yeah, it was a mix. It was a mix of what you said. It was either like, okay, this is happening. What are we going to do? Where's the money going to come? Where the gig's going to come from? Are we even going to gig again? Do I need to consider working somewhere else? Or, okay, let's put our hard hat on and let's think with an entrepreneurial mindset and see, okay, what's the next thing?
Yeah.
So it was a mix of everything, and I think honestly we're still figuring it out.
Yeah.
But I think we can all say we learned something new during this time.
No, very true. And it is, I definitely found even on my end, it's very important to give myself that like grace and like understand that it's like, especially now, Travis, like you're going to have some mentally bad days.
Yes, absolutely.
Like, you're going to have some mentally bad days and you don't need to fight through them. Like, if not leaving your bed and watching TV is what needs to be done to keep you moving, like, relish in the time that you can do it now, because when things pick up, like before, like there were no days off in events.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
when
Yeah.
before COVID, like
Like vacation, what is that?
yeah, like my vacation is around events. Like it's
Right.
like I take my vacation in January and February because that's when things slow down. Other than that, it's working 5, 6, sometimes 7 days a week, 80-hour weeks, like multiple shows. So now that like I think we touched on this in actually one of the other interviews, like now that we have the time, like let's try and use it and like give
Absolutely.
yourself that like grace and that time to slow down and assess and bring it back inwards. You know?
Right, and there's moments where you still even feel like I should be doing something right now.
Yeah.
I should be doing something like, oh my God, I need to send out this email, or I need to sit down and work on this song. And some days you just don't have it.
Yeah.
Some days you just have to sit back and kind of let your brain reload. And even more so now, because it's easy to think, oh, we have all this extra time now, so we should be able to do a billion different things that we couldn't do before when we were either working or just doing kind of administrative things in our lives. But even then, now we're in a mental mode of survival.
Yeah.
It's not just the physical or the presentational. It's like, okay, this is mental now.
Yeah.
We have to battle all of the things we were already battling on top of trying to be precautious, or take precautions in a pandemic.
Yeah.
Like, for example, even us just
Yeah.
sitting in between this is like, you're counting this. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, it was 6 feet. We're 6 feet apart. It's just trying to do the things that are necessary for productivity. But like you said, just extending that grace to yourself and being like, look, we're in a pandemic right now. We don't know exactly when this is gonna subside or end, pass. But in the meantime, it's like, okay, let's just focus on the little things, like one thing at a time. And, and then you hope you get some sanity out of that.
Yeah, no, definitely. So it looks like, some of your creativity has actually hit during, this whole thing. And you've released like some songs and stuff like that. Do you want to talk about like any of the stuff that's came out maybe in the last like 8 or 9 months, just kind of what inspired them?
Yeah. Again, like I was saying, I was able to set up a mini home studio, and I was really excited about that because before COVID, I was kind of at a musical crossroads, if you will. Wanting to do some different things and take music in a different direction, but I was also trying to figure out, budget and just the means, right? So from earlier in January, like one of the things that I knew I wanted to do was put out content. So I had gone into the studio, Blue Room Productions, which is based in Bethesda, but they had a studio in Herndon, which is now Exhale Recording. And we went in there and we recorded 5 cover videos, all like one take, rotating videos.
Yeah.
So we had done that. And, then when the pandemic hit, I was like, okay, I've been wanting to write more. I've been wanting to do my own stuff and not just, sing covers all the time. So that was when I just really kind of got absorbed with songwriting.
Yeah.
And I would allow myself to wake up naturally, no alarm clock. And by doing that, it just really allowed me to kind of take in the presence of each day. So for example, like I'll never forget it. I woke up one morning and I kind of turned, and the way that the sun was coming through the shades, it just inspired me to write about waking up.
Yeah.
But had it been a minute later or a minute earlier, or if the sun wasn't out that day, or if my blinds weren't tilted at, 30 degrees or however you want to, look at it, I might not have been inspired
Yeah.
in that moment. So I really tried to capitalize on those moments. And then in the midst of all that, I was working with a producer out of LA named Alio. And we had come out with one song in February, and we were working on some sync licensing projects together. So we were, saying like, hey, let's just see what we can come up with.
Yeah.
He would send me a beat, and I would, let him know like, hey, yeah, I can write to this, and then put something down, and then we pitch it out, and then we might decide like, hey, let's actually release this. Let's put this out there. And so that was really exciting just to be able to get music out again.
Yeah.
Because normally I've only been able to release about 1 to 2 songs a year. And this year, I want to say I had about 6 or 7.
Yeah.
So that to me was like a huge win.
Yeah.
Even in the midst of everything that we've been going through right now. So yeah, being able to write and being able to put those songs out, and also just kind of look at, okay, what was some of the older stuff that I had done, and produce some remixes of those songs and put those out, because to kind of like refresh that material. And I was very satisfied with how that turned out too. So yeah, just trying to capitalize on these moments, man. And it's again, it's kind of the entrepreneur in me. Just wanted to capitalize on a moment, but also just the creator in me. I couldn't just sit around and not let something flow out.
Yeah, you're kind of instead of like you're staying busy, but instead of like searching for inspiration, you're kind of letting inspiration find you. And like building, you're actively seeking inspiration instead of like searching for it.
Yeah, actively
you're accepting it.
Right, actively seeking, but also making it happen.
Yeah.
That was a big thing that really transitioned me through the pandemic. Was having that attitude of, I have to make an opportunity right now.
Yeah.
Because, the venues are closed.
Yeah.
The live gigs in terms of from a full audience, we're not going to have that for a while. Okay, so what is the next thing? What is the opportunity you need to create? What is something that you have to put down maybe once or twice to kind of get people in the door to say, oh, he does that.
Yeah.
Okay, let's call him and see if he'll do that for us. So that's kind of where virtual concerts came in, but saying all that to say, yes, it's allowing creativity to kind of flow through you to initiate a moment, but also kind of, pushing the needle forward in a way. And I told my bandmates this, because sometimes we were saying like, man, we can't wait until this pandemic is over. And I was like, we can't wait until the pandemic is over.
Yeah.
Because once the pandemic is over and people are looking for a source of entertainment, we want to be one of those people in the forefront to say, like, hey, we were out here doing this. And, oh, we noticed you during the pandemic. So, hey, like, would you want to come play for us? And if people didn't do that, that's okay too. That's the other thing to realize with all this. If there's a musician or an artist out there that did absolutely nothing during the pandemic, good.
Yep.
Good. Like, use that so that when you're ready to get back into it and ready to flow, use every emotion that you possibly went through during this time and fuel that for your creativity. So whether you did 20 things or you did nothing, it's all okay. Yeah. That's what we all have to remember.
Yeah. No, reminding yourself it's okay is very important. So now we are, I guess, we're kind of here. What do you see for like the next, we'll say, 6 or so months for like you, for your band? Like, do you have any things that you have in mind? I know you have a New Year's show coming up.
Yeah.
Which it's a drive-in show, I believe.
Yeah, absolutely. So First Night Alexandria, my hometown, Alexandria, Virginia, is hosting their yearly New Year's Eve festivities called First Night Alexandria. And so this year is a very different format from years past for obvious reasons. So they're doing two different things. So one is they are doing a virtual experience, so people can watch the concert, and it's going to be available for a full month. So from December 31st through January 31st, and they just have to purchase a ticket for the virtual concert or a drive-in experience on New Year's Eve, which is going to have dinner and dessert and a couple of giveaways. So that's kind of like the pull to get people to do the whole drive-in experience, which I think is pretty cool. How life is kind of cyclical like that.
Yeah.
You know, it's like drive-ins were a thing. They used to be a thing back in the day, and now to see it sort of come back, you know, albeit under these circumstances, but to kind of be able to say you can experience that now.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's one thing I have coming. I'm also doing a fundraiser show for DC Music Summit. DC Music Summit, which is run by Dior Ashley Brown, is a amazing organization that is geared toward connecting the DC music community and bringing us together, and also educating musicians in the area, and really just bringing the DMV to the forefront, which is something I'm very passionate about, because there's a hotbed of talent here. We are just as competitive and talented as any major music city that's out there.
Yeah.
And we should get that recognition. We owe it to ourselves as members in this community to have that. So I'm excited to be doing that as well. I also do some church services with Mosaic Christian Church, which is in the Columbia, Elkridge area. So I'll sing every few Sundays with them.
Yeah.
And then also just doing more work through the Capitol Groove Collective, which is an assortment of artists and activists, musical activists in this area. We all believe in various things and very strongly about them, and we just try to lead with a message of family and love and unity and community. And a term that we say is co-opetition, just meaning like we may be competing for a lot of the same things, but we're in this together.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm excited about that, and then obviously just continuing to write music and having some new releases come out this year, and I'm hoping that hopefully in the next 6 months things will slowly start to open. But if they don't, we'll still do virtual concerts or just even try to pre-record some things to present to people. So yeah, there's a lot that I have in my mind right now that I want to do and am doing, and I feel very fortunate to have that opportunity. But there's a lot of people that are responsible for that. So I want to make sure I give as many people credit as I possibly can.
Yeah, definitely sounds like you are staying busy. And let me tell you, I almost teared up and threw a chair when you talked about bringing DMV to the forefront.
Yeah.
Because I grew up in Northern Virginia, and I grew up around so many talented people. It's ridiculous. Like artists, musicians, just anything you can think of.
Yeah.
Like I've thrown a couple fundraisers and stuff, but one of the reasons I started Seasoned Media was to become a platform to help get the people who don't necessarily know how to get themselves to a bigger market and to a wider audience. And it's very important to me, and hearing someone else say that, and can't even lie, someone of color and stuff like that who also has that passion and sees the amount of talent and just amazingness that the DMV has, that the world is just not prepared for and wants to put it out there. It warms my heart just so much.
The wild thing about it though is that people do know about it.
Yeah.
But the reason they know about it is because those people had to leave DC in order to do it. So it's like, how do you know about a Wale
Yeah.
or a Ari Lennox or a Dave Chappelle or a Whitney Cummings or a Donnell Rawlings? Like, I can go on and on. A Tank, a Genuine. Like, you can go all the way down the line in various forms of people who came from this area but had to go elsewhere to get that notoriety, and then tell people, well, where are you from, and then tell them about us.
Yeah.
Whereas there's just such a immense pool of talent in this area, and all genres. And it's not just a main genre, because I mean, obviously a lot of people know the DC area for go-go and funk, which, yes, it's like the capital of that, but there's so many other genres here of artists who are just as driven, just as passionate, just as creative. And that's been one of the things that I have been striving for these past few years, is just, wanting to be able to highlight those people, but most importantly, wanting to educate and put the tools necessary in those people's hands, or at least, share my stories with them, because I'm not an expert by any means.
Yeah.
But if I can share my story and that inspires somebody to go out and do it bigger and do it better, then that's what that co-opetition is. That's what that's about. And we have that here. And, I think that's one of the things that needs to be highlighted about us. I think the only thing, honestly, that is missing in DC is a major label.
Yeah.
And if there is one, let yourself be known. But I think that's one of the biggest things that's missing, because why do people go to some of those other major cities?
Yeah.
Because that's where the labels are. That's where A&R is and things like that. Now, if there is a DC A&R team or a record label that's really like pushing music out to the mainstream, or just to these eclectic communities, then make yourself known so people know to come work with you.
Yeah.
But that's just been my personal take on it. I think everybody may have a different reason as why the DMV is not quite up there with some of those other cities, and maybe people may feel that we are, and I know we are. But it's just like, let's really like hone in on what we're great at.
No, I feel like the talent's there. My I guess on why, one of the reasons I feel like it's hard for a lot of musicians to come out of here is because it is heavily political in a corporate area, like especially DC.
Right.
So it's like you go to LA, like it's art. Like there's not much like government and stuff there. You go to Atlanta, like it's art. But it's like we're in the nation's capital, where I just feel like so much. Like, I feel like people just automatically think there's nothing here other than Smithsonian's and White Houses and, like, stuff like that.
There's a lot of them here.
Yeah, but it's like...
That's not the only thing.
You go to the right show or party or neighborhood, like, I remember One Love Massive, when they were, like, still a big thing. Like, I went to a couple of their events, learned about so many great artists through, like, their collective and stuff like that. Like, there's a crazy amount of like just talent, and I just think it's pretty much up to us and like things like what you're doing, like bringing people together, because it really is power in numbers.
It is.
Like
absolutely.
If the more of us that jump on different tracks or get interviewed, and we start combining our networks and our fan base and everything like that, then that's when you really get that overlapping. And you really start to get that like build out, because it's like this guy may have a couple people in like LA that he talks to. This guy has a couple people in like New York. This guy has a couple people in Utah.
Yeah.
And you start bringing those networks together, and like you said, like giving them the tools to really go out there and promote themselves, and giving them that like responsibility and that like knowledge, and like being willing to hold their hand and like kind of walk them through the steps.
And that's where the power of social media comes in. Everybody has their views about social media, right? But what we also have to remember is social media is really what we make it,
Yeah.
because we can follow and unfollow anybody
Facts.
we choose.
Facts.
So I know that, there's probably people who think, well, it's a lot of toxicity and there's, some negativity and things like that. And, we have the power as owners of our platform or users of our platform to really do that outreach that you're talking about.
Yeah.
And I brought that up just mainly because I've seen some of the benefits during COVID of doing that. And that's also part of the reason why I'm so big on community, just because I've seen how it's worked or how it's working. Like what you said, it's, you have friends either that are coastal or, regional, or like I said, like that's honestly how me and Elio linked up, was through Instagram.
Yeah.
And we have never met each other face to face, but he's in LA, I'm here, and we're working together. Just meeting people from different states and learning about who they are and the music that they create. People that I would have probably never been able to get introduced to before the pandemic, because my focus would have been elsewhere.
Yeah.
So that's been a very rewarding part also of the times we've been in, all things considered.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to make light of what we're in, but again, it's just about finding the positive moments in what has been a very up and down year.
Yeah, whatever you want to call it. It hasn't been the perfect year.
Like I don't want to hear anybody say, yeah, 2020 was crazy, but 2021, it's gonna be my year. Yeah. Don't say that, because we all said that last year, and look what happened.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, you know what? Let 2021 be a year.
Yeah.
Be a year.
Yeah. No,
Don't be my year, your year, his year, her year. Be a year.
Yeah.
Let's just go with that.
Yeah. No, that is like very true. And like that's one thing like COVID has kind of brought to my mindset is it's not, oh, this is my month, this is my year. It's more about like taking things day by day, like building like actionable steps to make goals happen, and like understanding there's gonna be falls and bad days, but it's a day by day more, and like I feel like it's helped me to accomplish my goals more. I feel like being able to slow down and take it, step by step.
And also realizing how much pressure we put on ourselves.
Yeah.
What I was saying about social media, believe it or not, I was sitting here talking about how, it could be our strength. But one of the greatest things that I did during the pandemic was I took a month off of social media. Like I just left it all behind. I turned off my notifications. I, just didn't get on for a month.
Yeah.
And it was honestly like one of the most therapeutic, re-cleansing moves that I made, because then I could really focus on me. I could really focus on what are the top 5 things that I want to accomplish every day.
Yeah.
And I've just put my focus into that versus what am I going to post today?
Yeah.
What am I doing today that's post-worthy? I think there's been times where our minds have transitioned to that.
Yeah.
If I'm not posting today, I'm not doing anything, or I'm not relevant. But there's some beauty in kind of moving in silence.
Yeah.
And just kind of focusing on you. So I'm saying that to say sometimes we're super hard on ourselves because we want to do 100 things in a day, and because we only do 5 of them, we think that it's counterproductive, or that we didn't have a good day. But the fact that you did 5 things, you extrapolate that by 365, and like you've accomplished quadruple digit tasks over the course of a year. So again, we just have to kind of take pride in that, and celebrate every possible win that we can get.
No, 100%. So, got one more question for you, which is a question I ask everyone.
Yeah.
What would you say, since like mental health, especially with COVID, has like really been brought to the forefront? What are like maybe like two things you kind of do on a daily basis or something like that that kind of keep you on track, not going insane and things like that during this time?
Eat junk food and cry.
Yo.
No, I'm totally kidding. But
I mean,
look, somebody could do that.
Hey,
I'm just saying.
Hey, sometimes you got to self-heal.
Look,
and I'm
yeah.
not gonna say,
Hey, it's okay to
have
cheat.
never done
It's
that.
okay. It's okay. You had that one fry or the one large fry. I done had a few of them. You know, it is what it is. But no, it's for real. It's funny because sometimes day to day things change, and that's okay.
Yeah.
I think the biggest takeaway that I've told myself is just try to do something every day that brings you joy.
Okay.
That's the main thing. So whether it's calling a friend or, again, like I said, I've watched so much Disney Plus and Netflix and HBO Max in the past, few months. But that felt good. It felt good to watch these shows and kind of step away from reality for a little bit. I'm a huge gamer, so I play my Xbox or I'll watch some sports or things like that. So I would say just try to focus on doing a couple of things a day that make you smile, that bring you joy.
Yeah.
Because even when those days are hard and you may have had a day where you're just like, I need to go just eat my face off and I need to cry into my pillow.
Yeah.
You can at least still say that you did something that brought you some peace.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's primarily what I would say, and just also recognize in this moment what you were able to live without, so you know what you really need.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's hard to say, well, I didn't go out to eat as much. I didn't go to the restaurants and the bars as much. And you feel for everybody who's in those positions, who are out of work right now and trying to figure life out. But then there's a moment in there where you're like, wow, because I didn't do that, I spent a lot more time with my family.
Yeah.
Or I read 12 books. It's things like that you should just take a step back and really appreciate what you did in this time.
Yeah.
And how you can still do those things and are very capable of doing those things moving forward. Because at the end of the day, that's what this life is about. It's about doing things that bring you value, doing things that bring you love, doing things that bring you peace. Because when this life is over, that's what you want to be content with that and not feel like you had anything left on the table, or that you were living for somebody else.
For sure. And I gotta say, that 30 minutes went extra fast for me. So, well, I did say we had something special, and we actually, coming up, have a studio performance by Jarreau. So, I mean, I say coming up like we got commercial breaks or something like that.
Yeah, let me go. I'm gonna go do my yoga real quick to flex out these old bones and joints. But no, this is one of the songs that me and Alio came out with during the pandemic. It's called "Call Me," which was actually inspired by the pandemic. Because dating during COVID is hard. I don't know if y'all knew that, but. Yeah, so that's where that was inspired from. So I really hope that y'all enjoy that performance.
Cool. Well, we're about to take it to the performance. Got to move a couple things around, but stay tuned and we'll be right back.
Yeah, we've been separated for far too long during this pandemic. I've been texting you, but I just want you to call me.
I can't wait to see you. I'll pick you up in 20 minutes.
Yeah, it's gonna be a real good time. Let's get it. Baby, sitting here but thinking about you lately. And my body's in some trouble, won't you save me? The clock's ticking, can I see you? Are you busy? 'Cause I'm going crazy, and I want you. I need you. I wanna please you. Yeah, baby, I'll be what you need. Let me give you everything, just. And I love how you're talking. Come on and just. I love how you walk it. And love me, and I can't even doubt it. Hey, just call me. You know I'm all about it. Baby, late at night I'm dreaming about you, baby. I'm wishing you were here to put it on me. Love me, come on, baby. Come on, talk to me. And I want you. And I need you. Hey, I wanna please you. Hey, baby, I'll be what you need. Let me give you everything. Just call me, yeah. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, I love how you walk it, yeah. I love, yeah. All right, check it out one time. Pick up the phone, girl, I know that you're home. Please don't leave me like a dog panting for the bone. Other side of the tone, danger zone. I'm like Macaulay Culkin sitting home alone. I wanna hear your voice and give you my all. Maxing out the credit cards at the mall. Head over heels, you made me fall. Now all you gotta do is one thing. What's that, y'all? I love how you're talking. Come on and show me. Hey, come on and love me. Hey, come on and call me. Hey, call me. Yeah. Show me, show me, show me. Yeah. La la la. Call me. Yeah. Just call me. Yeah.
Jarreau Williams, y'all.
Yeah, yes, sir.
I gotta say it again. Jarreau Williams, y'all. Now that is how you end the series. Thank you for watching the episodes of COVID AV. Thank you, Dan Longfellow and AVLD Events, for providing this gorgeous space. Everything you hear and sounded has been donated, sponsored by AVLD Events. Links will be posted, so make sure you're clicking and following them. Make sure you're following Jarreau Williams, following me. Thank y'all again. Call me. Peace.